Yo, it's Trent. Hope everyone's having a good day, good week so far. Happy Thursday. And I got so fried during school that I had to sleep it off story time. So I've told a similar one to this when I was in the alternative school and I had gotten baked and they weren't really watching me as hard as they usually were that day. So I went to this little like study area and I just kind of sat there really high for a while, right? This is a different story, different time, different school, right? Also, I think I was way higher. Sorry, I was just trying to fix my grammar. I think I was way higher in this one than that story. So let's get into it. So to set the stage, I'm a freshman, right? And it was towards the end of the year, so I had already finished football, but I was still a good kid. You know what I mean? Like, I never had good grades in high school, but what I mean by good kid is like I had B's. You know what I mean? I had B's, maybe a few C's, but I wasn't skipping, wasn't doing too many bad things, right? But I was smoking a little bit, just not at school, right? That was, a sophomore year, junior year, senior year thing. I didn't really do that freshman year. But in this situation, you'll see what happened. So we had an assembly at the end of the day, right? So I get to school, it's like 7, 8 a.m., whatever. We have an assembly from what time did we get done at school? Like 1:55, or no, that's too early, like 2:50 maybe. So from like 1:50 to 2:50 or whatever the last hour of the day was, we'd be in the assembly, right? So I was planning, or the way I was thinking is like, hey, it's like, it was probably a Friday or some shit. And I was like, okay, today doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like, I just have to get through some of my classes. Then we have a giant assembly. Plus, there's lunch in there and gym. It's like this day hopefully won't be too bad, or it'll go by quick, or I'll enjoy some parts of it. That's what I was thinking, right? So the first half of school really was not that entertaining. Like, nothing, it was normal as could be, right? Now I had lunch, and between lunch and the assembly, I had 2 classes in between there, right? Those are important. But at lunch, I'm sitting with my friends, right? And one of them is like, hey, I brought a cart to school if anybody wants it. Now, a lot of people hit it at lunch, and I thought about it, but I've always had a thing. You know how people get munchies when they're baked? That happens to me occasionally, but normally I get high and I don't want to eat till I kind of calm down a little bit. You know what I mean? I don't know why, but I didn't want to hit it at lunch for that reason. I was like, nah, I'm good. But like, hey, if you see me at the assembly, let me hit that bitch, right? I was down. He's like, okay, sounds good. Now, I had this dude in the class right before the assembly, but I wasn't thinking about that at the time. So I go to my next class, which is like auto shop or whatever, which normal, like, dudes would probably be like, hell yeah, cool class. I hated that shit, dude, because I just don't care about cars. I really don't. I mean, I see a fast car, I'm like, hey, that's nice, but I don't care about what's inside the car, you know what I mean? So having to learn about all that shit, and it was the first semester of the class, so it was like small engines, like lawnmowers and shit, dude. I was bored out of my mind, right? So I was just waiting to get through that class. Well, once I finished that, I go to the last class the day before the assembly, and I got there like, there's 3 to 5 minutes during passing period, like to get from one class to the next class. So I got there in like 1 or 2 minutes, and I see my friend, and I kind of motion him out. And because I was dumb, I don't know why I did this, dude. But if I was smart, I would have been like, yo, as soon as this class ends, let's go and smoke before the assembly. But for some stupid reason, I signal to my friend, or, the boys out. I'm like, yo, you want to go hit that bitch? Like, I'm trying to hit it if you're okay with it, But back then, like, this friend, he did not care. He wasn't the stingy type. Some people would be like, if you're going to hit my cart, only hit it for this many seconds. This dude didn't give a fuck. He was like, yeah, we're good. So we go to the bathroom, and nowadays, because I know this dude, I definitely smoke more than him. Not even a competition thing, not a bragging thing. That's just facts, right? But back then, this dude was smoking strong, okay, when I wasn't. So I knew that like 1 or 2 hits is going to get me fried. So this dude, he wanted to hit it first. Obviously, it's his cart. So we're sitting next to each other in the bathroom stall. Not the same stall, but, like separate stalls. And I'm sitting there waiting, and I hear him keep hitting it. Like, he hit it probably 6, 7 times. Now, for some reason, that gave me like a boost. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, if he hits it 7 times, like, I can do half of that. I can hit it like 3, maybe 4. When I told you earlier, 1 or 2 was going to get me fried. Just 1 would get me high, but 2 would, like, send me up there, right? So he gives it to me, and instead of taking 2, which I knew would get me very stoned, I rip it 4 times, dude, which is not even half of 7. If you want to be specific, I should have hit it for 3.5 times, right? But nah, I ripped that bitch 4 times, and not blinkers, but like long hits, like at least 4, 5, 6 seconds, a good amount of time, right? I cough my ass off. I go back to class and I am absolutely stoned. Like before I even got into the room, I was stoned. But while we were sitting there, the teacher, she was using one of those screen, like the projectors, you know what I mean, where they're showing you their paper, but it's up on the whiteboard or whatever. She's using a projection, and I just feel myself getting higher and higher and higher, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm fucking fried. Like, goddamn. So I'm sitting there and I'm just trying to keep my cool, and we have like 40 minutes before this class ends. So I knew if she saw my eyes, I'd be cashed. I'd be done for, right? So I was looking away from her, like putting my head down, doing the best I could. I kept saying I was tired and like laying my head down. And the teacher, she was nice, but also not nice. You know what I mean? Like a real nice teacher wouldn't say anything. They'd be like, oh, that student's tired. Let them keep their head down, right? A mean teacher isn't going to let you do that at all. They're like, hey, get your head up, you know? But this teacher was in the middle. Like, she'd let me do it for like 5-10 minutes. Then she'd be like, come on, pay attention. And then I'd do it for another like 5-10 minutes. Then she'd tell me to pay attention. So I do that for like 2 or 3 cycles. There's 10 minutes left of class. So I asked to go to the bathroom, right? And, you know, I went up and talked to her. I didn't just ask because I was like, hey, I know we're not supposed to bring our bags with us, but we have 5-10 minutes. I'm going to be in there for a little bit. Can I just bring my bag with me? She's like, sure, right? And usually the teachers wouldn't say yes to that kind of thing, but I wasn't skipping yet at the time. So I had I had done nothing wrong yet. You know what I mean? I was still a trustworthy student. So she was like, yeah, that's fine, I guess. But, you know, if I find out you're leaving early for a different reason, you're going to get in trouble. I was like, okay, sounds good. So I go straight to the bathroom, right? And I sit in there and I'm like, damn, I'm fucking fried, dude. I don't know if I should go to the assembly, but the bell rings. I waited out, right? And I decided, let me just go see what this assembly looks like, right? Because I didn't know if it was certain grades, like just freshmen or everybody or what it was. Dude, it was everybody. It seemed like the entire school was in there. Obviously, there's not going to be everybody, but it seemed like everybody was in there. Teachers, students, the fucking janitors, the nurse, everybody. It felt like everybody was in this big gym, right? And there were no seats left on the ground floor. So what there was is, what the best way to call it is the balcony, because the gym's on the bottom floor, right? Well, right next to the gym is stairs. If you go up the stairs, it leads you right to the weight room. If you go in the weight room, there's 2 doors that open up. You go out there and you're on a balcony overlooking the gym, right? And people would run laps up there and you'd run laps below. So you could have kind of like a double gym class. So the kids that, you know, wanted to lift but wanted to do cardio that day or just didn't feel like benching, they're like, hey, go run, right? So it was like a fitness thing. The reason I'm telling you that is that's where I ended up going, right? I go up to the balcony because there's no seats left. Like, I gotta watch from above, right? So I go up there and I see one of my friends and I go to talk to him, and before I can get a word out of my mouth, he goes, dude, you gotta get out of here. I was like, why? And he's like, you look so fucking high. And he shows me a picture. My eyes, dude, it was like the Swisher red, dude. That's how red it was. Like, they were bloodshot. It looked like I had like a disease or something, or someone poured lime juice in my eyes or something, or lemon juice. I looked fucked up, right? So I was like, shit, I can't stay here, right? Now, if I was a little older, I would have just left from school. Wouldn't have been a problem. I mean, it would have been a problem, but I would have known how to get away with that. I would have been fine with it. I would have absorbed the risk, right? But because I was young and kind of scared to leave, I was like, shit, I gotta go find somewhere to sleep this off. I'm high as hell. And I knew that we have an hour, and even if I tried to fall asleep in school, like, your mind, your body knows you're in school, so you wake up occasionally. So I knew I wouldn't sleep for the whole hour. Even if I did, I'll put an alarm on my phone or something, but I gotta find somewhere to sleep, right? So I'm looking around the gym. Obviously, there's gonna be nowhere in there too. So I get out of the gym and I'm like, okay, maybe I can go in the bathroom and just like put my head against the door maybe, or like put my hand on my head to just fall asleep for a little bit. I didn't know where I was going to go. So I started looking for bathrooms. Now, every bathroom, dude, in this school smelled like shit, so I didn't want to go in there. So I had like 2 other options. I can, one, you know, try to find like a classroom maybe that's empty, sleep in there, but that's sketchy because a teacher could come back at any moment. Or, I know this sounds wild, but right next to the weight room where I was before was the long hallway, which was the special ed hallway. And in the special ed hallway, they had mattresses against the wall. I don't know what the purpose was. I don't know if it's if kids got tired, if like something with their autism, if they need like a bed to lay. I don't know why the hell they had mattresses in the hallway, right? I have no clue. But they were like these blue, skinny, like hospital mattresses, you know? And I knew that like people use these, but no one's using them right now, obviously, because everybody's in the damn gym. So I just grabbed one of them. I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to take this somewhere hidden, right? Now, the only place that I knew was hidden from the rest of the school was in-school suspension. Now, when you go into in-school suspension, it's a little hallway, right? And you can either go into the ISS room, the in-school suspension room, where the guy teacher sits and he's watching you, or there's the band room, right? I knew for a fact the band wasn't in there because they're all fucking, you know, playing and shit in the not the auditorium, in the assembly, like the band kids were there doing stuff. Maybe it was a hype rally, whatever you call them, right? A pep rally, I don't know. But I knew that the band wasn't there, and I knew that like, hey, these kids stay after school, so as soon as the bell rings, I bet they're expected to come put their instruments up here. That gives me like a 40-minute time slot to try to sleep this off a little bit, right? I don't know why I thought I needed to sleep it off. In all reality, I could have just sat somewhere and been completely fine. I mean, no one was looking for me. I could have left school. I could have sat in a room alone and just chilled. But for some reason in my mind, I was like, you have to sleep this off. It's the only way, right? So I bring this like fucking weird, sketchy, not sketchy, but just not nice this like blue hospital mattress into the band room, and I just lay it on the floor, and I'm like, fuck it, dude. If they catch me, they catch me. But I put a timer on my phone for like 30 minutes or 40 minutes because I knew that like they're not going to leave the assembly early. I knew that. I had a feeling. But you could oversleep and they find you. That would be bad, right? You don't want to be caught sleeping, right? Also, there's cameras all around the school. So if anyone had actually just looked at the cameras, they'd see me dragging, you know, all this stuff around or dragging the mattress around. But I plop it on the floor. I shut the door. I didn't lock it because, you know, I just didn't want to get in more trouble just in case I got caught. So I just turned off the lights, shut the door, but I didn't lock it. And I put the mattress right by the door. So, like, if someone saw open the door, they'd see me right there, right? Because I wasn't, like, I didn't want to not get in trouble, but I knew, like, I don't know. It just made it seem better in my head. So I lay down. To be honest with you, I couldn't fall asleep for a little while, like 15 minutes. So really, my alarm was going to go off anyways in, like, 10, 15, 20 minutes, but finally I doze off, right? And when I wake up, it's my phone going off, thank God. Because if it was the band teacher, dude, he already didn't like me because I had been flirting with his daughter, who I didn't know was his daughter, right? So there was already kind of bad blood there. So the last thing I wanted to be found by was him. But I hear my phone go off. I still feel high, but I look in the mirror and my eyes were a little better, you know what I mean? Like from sleeping, having my eyes closed. I don't know, they got watered or something. Like they were red, but it was like how they are now, like just barely red, you know what I mean? So I get up and I'm like, shit, dude, that was cool. But I look at my phone and like the alarm went off. But you know when you're waking up, you're kind of foggy. It takes a minute. I'm looking at my phone and it's like, let's say we get out of school at 2:50. It's like 2:46 or 2:44 or something like that. I was like, oh fuck, right? And I can hear people in the hallway. So I know the assembly probably ended. They sent them back to their class to you know, get dismissed and then go home or whatever they were doing, right? I was tweaking. I knew that like these kids are gonna come down the hall any second. I could hear people's voices and footsteps like outside, right? So I'm getting nervous. I'm like, damn, I can't bring this mattress back. Like if someone sees me walking with it, that won't be good. I don't know how to explain myself in that situation. So what do? I leave the mattress, dude. I sneak out. I go into the weight room, which was across the hall, go onto the balcony to check if people are still in there. And they were still letting people go, you know, so it wasn't a big traffic jam of bodies. They were like dismissing people every once in a while. So I see them doing that, and I was just like, shit, let me just leave, dude. Like, school ends in 4 minutes. So I go to one of the doors, right, that I would have skipped a few years later, but I go to one of the doors that I was going to leave out, and I look at the clock, and it's like, we have 1 minute to leave. So instead of just leaving, I just waited by the door, right? No one else was by this door. I was like by a back exit or some shit. And then all of a sudden, you know, the bell goes off. I go to my bus. I dip out, dude. Didn't tell anybody, but I'm surprised I didn't get caught. I mean, I know they only check the cameras when, like, something happens, but dude, I should have gotten caught. I mean, I got stoned as fuck in the bathroom, came out, asked to leave early, and then stole a special ed kid's mattress, most likely. I hope not, but, like, they were in the hallway, so I don't know. Maybe it was just for storage, though. I mean, I don't know what they were for, but that's the hallway I was in, right? So I took it, but I never brought it back, which kind of messed up. But what are you going to do? I didn't have time, but I left. Dude, I just can't believe I didn't get caught. I'm glad I didn't get caught, but that was nerve-wracking, to be honest with you. But overall, it worked. I mean, to be honest with you, I knew what I had to do, even as a young kid. Like, I knew, hey, you're fucking fried. If someone sees you, you're fucked. You gotta sleep this off. And most people would be nervous to fucking just sleep in school. Not sleep, normal sleep in school, but to do what I did, go into a random room during an assembly and just say fuck it and fall asleep. That was scary, dude, but I did it. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Sub, share, like, comment. I'm about to go to the dentist in like an hour. I'm fucking nervous. And I don't even know if I'll be posting tomorrow because I already know this shit's going to be all fucked up. It's going to be like... So we'll see about posting tomorrow. You know I want to. So I'm going to try. The only reason I wouldn't is like if I'm talking and blood's coming out of my mouth. But I doubt that's going to happen. So yeah, thanks for watching. Sub, share, like, comment if you want. I just appreciate you guys watching. If you're going through something, my Instagram is linked in the bio. Just go there, DM me. I'll get back to you in a day or two. Thanks for watching. Peace out.